6.
Mine at the minute are on about 6, 7.
So what does this mean? There's something behind it because he smirked at me and I was like, do I want to know? And he's like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'll see if I can get it out of him over the weekend.
I just can't bother asking mine because I know I really don't want to do it. And if they can get you to say it, or 67 or something, they just burst out laughing at you, and you're like, oh, go on, Dad, do that. And then occasionally I'll go, and they're like just wet themselves, and you think, I'd like to think they're laughing with me, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
3, 2, 1, yeah!
Hello and welcome back to the 1840 podcast. I'm Paul Bullivant, your host, and today I'm delighted to be joined by Becki Hughes from Talasey, and we're going to talk landscaping. We're going to do a 2025 season review. So we're going to have a look back at 2025, and then I'm going to ask Becki to get a crystal ball out and give us some idea of what's going to happen in 2026. Please make it accurate. So let's start at the beginning with the market. In one word, describe 2025.
Without wanting to be too negative, the first thought that I had was flat.
Flat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Expand a bit.
I think we've had a couple of challenges over the past couple of years. We've had COVID, and there was a big boom. So you've probably got people who have done what they need to do in landscaping terms on a majority level. This year, we've got the current economic crisis. People's mortgages are going up. I know there's money out there, but it's not as buoyant as we would like it to be. So I think all these factors have just culminated, and it's okay. It's steady, but I don't think we've seen any major growth this year at all.
Okay. Has there been any surprises within the within what you sell? So trends, materials.
Well, no surprise with the grey theme. Grey is very much still the colour, as it has been for a couple of years now. In terms of what we have seen change, last year was very much stone was. I know porcelain's taking up trend, and it has been for the past couple of years now. But even last year, stone for us was still a bigger proportion of the sales in terms of paving compared to porcelain.
Okay. And
this year, we've seen a shift. I think year on year, we're about 18% down in terms of volume of stone, and porcelain has filled that gap. So now porcelain is ahead in terms of our sales. Really? Yeah.
And do you think, is that likely to continue, or do you understand why it's happened?
I think there's a trend towards single sizes, the low maintenance piece. There's been some availability issues with certain sandstone, so that possibly has had a factor. But when we talk about 2026, I think there's a place for stone to have a bit of a resurgence. So I don't know if you want to talk about that later.
Yeah, no,
Come back to that.
But why do you think it will come back in 26?
As we've seen a bit of a shift on interiors for a more natural look, more neutral colours, and obviously natural stone is a natural product over a porcelain.
Yeah. So could the whole porcelain thing just be a trend that comes in and drifts away, or does it hit a level where it won't go backwards?
I don't think it'll go backwards. I think obviously way back, concrete was the main thing. Probably 24 years ago, natural stone then became a thing, and that's still going strong. Concrete's still got a place as well in terms of paving. Talasey started doing our porcelain range, I think, in 2014. So we've had nearly good 10 years at it already. Yeah. So I don't think any of those materials are going to disappear. I just think there might be a little bit of a vying for position with regards to trends and availability.
Has porcelain really been out 10 years externally?
Yep.
That's amazing. I always think of it as it being like in the last 4 or 5.
I do. And when I think about the growth of Talasey as well, I'm like, okay, yeah, we started doing porcelain a few years ago. And I did a presentation recently about brands and the history of the product brands in Talasey. And it reminded me that I was like, crikey, yeah, it was 2014. I'm sure that's when we started doing it. So it's...
Do you remember what started bringing it in?
Do you know, I don't. I just think it's like like anything, fashion, trends. It's used internally a lot. The inside, it might be the inside-outside piece has had an impact on it. And wanting to continue the home into the garden and the bifold scenario.
So for next year, you're already planning for what, a similar kind of a year?
I think so. I don't think there's ever going to be that much difference between stone and porcelain at the moment.
Yeah.
Even though, like I said, this year we have seen porcelain as overtaken in terms of if you look at the mix of our sales. But I do think next year stone may well come back again. The past couple of years, it's kind of been
it's gone the other,
it's like a horse
race.
race.
The other way.
Yeah.
Okay. Of course, for the last few years, there's always been a lot of supply issues since COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really, and they've continued. What happened this year with 900, 600 grey stone?
Boom. Absolute craziness. There's a massive surge. And it's just that age-old supply and demand issue. It seemed like everybody wanted 9x6 grey sandstone all at the same time. The amount of orders that we saw en masse was nuts. And we've got other competitors in the arena who've said a similar thing.
Yeah.
And of course, there's only so much material that can be quarried and processed at any one given time. So,
do you understand what made that surge?
Well, there's a thought of, porcelain is en vogue and it's very much single size led. Mm-hmm. So it could be that people are now going, okay, we like the single size format, we like the brick effect look, and let's do it with stone as well as porcelain. So that may have driven it. The single size scenario from a porcelain point of view, and grey's been popular for a couple of years now. So people wanting to get ahead of the landscaping season. But it was crazy how the demand went.
Did you see it coming?
I personally didn't see it on that scale. We know single sizes were getting a bit of a head start over not over project packs, but they're rising in popularity. Yeah. And grey's, like I say, has been popular for a while, but I didn't see it at that scale. No.
Strange, isn't it? Mm. I mean, we didn't see it until it was too late, and I guess everybody had seen the same with you.
Yeah.
Just explain quarries and project packs and single sizes, which helped make it a problem. So
because project packs are still, well, for us, definitely, that they're the biggest part of what we sell in terms of natural stone. I think this year we're probably 68% project packs and the rest is made up of single sizes. Okay. So it's still the biggest seller for us in terms of size format. And that's been the case for a while. A lot of our production facilities focus on project packs because of that, but also during the cutting down of the blocks into sizes, if you're only doing one particular size, there's going to be wastage. Okay. So the project packs use up that. Well, they don't have waste. Whereas you're just doing 9x6s, there's a lot more waste there. So that has an impact on the price as well.
So the quarries would kind of slow down their production of 9x6 in order to get more slabs out of a piece of stone. Yes.
Yeah, it takes longer just to do 9x6s, and then there's so much more waste. As opposed to having waste, cut them down in smaller sizes, make up the project packs.
Okay. So, and what are you thinking is going to happen in 26? Is that? I think
project packs will still far outweigh the single sizes. If you look at the figures that we've got this year, it'd be a massive jump for that to switch. But I do think single sizes are going to continue to increase. Yeah.
Are you getting feedback from installers and other merchants? What are they suggesting?
So there's a couple that I talk to on quite a regular basis, and some of the work that I've seen them do recently, I've not seen that many project packs laid. But it depends what the person's got a preference for as well. Depends on the nature of the job they're doing and the budgets that people have got. But definitely 9x6s are probably the most popular. Last year, in terms of porcelain, we had an even split between sales of 6x6s and 9x6s. Yep. This year, I think we are up 18% shift to 9x6s and down on 6x6s.
So everything is going
9x6 at the minute.
Bigger and bigger
Yeah.
Bigger.
Yeah.
Have there been any changes within porcelain into? I know grey has stayed the main colour, but in terms of patterns and the like,
We've brought out a couple of different variations in terms of look and feel and texture. But greys is still definitely very much the colour.
Yeah.
People are liking to contrast with edging pieces, darker colours, so that you've got that contrast, make patterns, things like that. But we are hearing, and I've heard from a few people, that there's a bit more demand now for creams and whites.
Okay.
And the very lighter greys.
Yeah.
So I think we might start to see a shift. And again, what we talked about earlier in terms of trends that are coming in for 2026, I think the more neutrals and lighter colours might come in.
And there'll be less grey.
I think there'll still be a fair amount of grey, but I think that the neutrals may just start to pick up the pace.
What do you think will need to change before the market picks up in landscaping?
I think we probably need to see some stability with the government and the economy, interest rates.
So it's just the stuff that's impacting the whole of the building market.
Yeah, definitely.
Could there be an argument that because of COVID, we had that 2 years when everybody was doing their gardens, that there's just a natural cycle where a lot of gardens are done?
Yeah, I think that is definitely the case. I think that's impacted last year, this year, and I think it probably will for a few years. But, if the government pledge for 1.5 million new houses comes to fruition, that should, and again, it's the whole industry, but that's got to have a knock-on effect as well.
In terms of supply chain, so we're kind of used to problems now. They're kind of par for the course. They're no surprises. Give us an update on the Red Sea, because last year or the year before, that was the thing that was causing the problem. How's that going?
It's still an issue. Our vessels certainly aren't going through the Red Sea. Everything's going via Africa. And although I think we've learnt to cope with it a little bit and manage it, it's still having an impact. So to bring in stone from India was normally 20 to 21 days.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing, I think I was speaking to the guy at our place who manages all our imports, and he said the best time that we've seen recently has been 38 days to get from India down to Tilbury.
Yep.
And on average, it's 40 plus days, and the worst we've seen was 78. So it's still a moving feast, and it's a case of having to manage that and work with that. But we've had a fair while at it now, so we're in a place where we can accommodate that.
Is it relatively It's relatively stable, but longer, so therefore you can just plan better.
Yes, absolutely. And the other thing that we've got now as well is there's congestion at a lot of the ports in both Europe, Felixstowe, Tilbury. So vessels are queuing up to get in, can't be offloaded. We think we have an ETA when something's arriving and we can get it off and devan and
Regulations in the quarries. I've heard that is changing in India and the quarries are becoming more regulated. So
I think there's a desire to make that happen. John Layton at Pavestone has been heading up an initiative with different colleagues who are based over in India. It was kind of from a human rights kind of perspective, and looking at the health impact of some workers in certain areas. And there's a lot of discussion there around trying to regulate how stone is moved from different parts from the quarry to processing to docks, to try and have a bit of a passport on them. We're in a relatively fortunate position that we're quite close to our supply chain and we are quite happy and clear on how everything is done. But I don't know how it will come to fruition, because there's so much going on over there and how they work.
So in terms of regulation around quarries, it's just continuing work. We're not going to see that impact.
I don't think so at the minute
anymore.
Not in terms of impact and availability. No.
And then you actually told me this the other day when we spoke. Monsoons.
Yes. So monsoon season is traditionally July to September. Only it's still monsoon season. It's continued.
Really?
So there is a concern that this could impact Q1 next year in terms of stone availability on certain products. Again, I was speaking to the guy who looks after all of our imports, and he said the main quarries that are being impacted are those that contain the buffs, the browns, and the rajas. So obviously, if there's water in the quarries, we can't get in. They can't extract the stone. They can't be processing it right now.
Okay.
So I would suggest that people plan ahead. You know, we are quite open to speaking to our merchant customers to understand what the needs are, what the volumes are coming up, and we can work to ring fence volume. But we need to pre-plan as much as possible because we don't know the extent of what this impact is going to be. But it's one to be aware of.
Is it a real once in a blue moon extended monsoon season?
I think with the way things are with the climate now, we might see this a little bit more often.
Interesting.
But this is the first time I've heard of this in a couple of years.
Sustainability. Mm-hmm. It's a hot topic.
Absolutely.
Whatever you talk to. How can natural stone ever be sustainable when we're bringing it from India?
There's UK stone. We do have a small range of UK stone. But what we've always found is it's just so much more expensive.
Okay.
To quarry and produce over here. It's still cheaper to bring in from India than it is from a quarry down the road. It's crazy. And I think until we get to a point where people are really conscious about CO2 emissions and that becomes more of a barrier than a price, I don't know if we're going to see a shift.
Does anybody ever raise it with the industry as in it's not carbon friendly because of the travel?
More and more we're being asked about our sustainability and our footprint, and there's different customers coming to us wanting to know the credentials and the metrics around that, which we can answer, but we've not been challenged. I mean, if you look at the volume of supply that comes over from India, I don't know if we'd be able to keep up with demand if we said no and shut that off. And one of the other points that was raised when I was down at the House of Commons with some of the guys from Pavestone, they were saying the impact that would have on the economy over there, and the families that rely on that industry, it would be devastating.
Interesting. It has always astounded me the thing why we don't produce stone in or stone slabs in the UK, because we quarry our own stone for building. There's
Purbeck signs. There's quarries that we do buy in UK stone from, but like I said, the cost difference it's prohibitive.
Is the stone the same and the quality the same? Do you know?
There'll probably be differences because of the nature of the land and where it's quarried from. But in terms of being fit for purpose as a product, I don't see there's a massive difference. You'd be talking about the difference between a sandstone and a granite and a limestone and what those properties have, regardless of where they come from.
Yeah. Okay. Right, 26. Mm-hmm. Market forecast. You maybe touched on this a little bit.
I wish I had a crystal ball. When you said it at the start, I was like, that's what I'm going to need. I think given how the past couple of years have played out with conflicts arising and COVID, I absolutely don't know. At the start of the year, I was speaking to somebody and I wish I'd have asked where she got the research from, but she said she'd seen something somewhere, again, don't know how true it is, that this year would be flat. Next year, we might see a slight uplift, but 2027 is the year that landscaping really picks up again. And, I don't know if she was called Mystic Meg or where she got that from, but, people always say that, it's going to pick up, it's going to pick up.
So in terms of your forecasting and ordering stone and getting it across, it's pretty flat, it's pretty...
Yeah, and we would encourage, our merchant customers to speak to us about what their thoughts are going into next year as well. But one thing we are looking at is we've learned on the back of the issues with the Red Sea and the issues at the ports and the monsoon season being extended, we have more storage facilities now. So we'll be bringing in more and more and have more available at any one given time, so that we can hopefully keep ahead of that demand.
Yeah. Trends for the year?
I think we will see more neutrals creams, whites, natural looking textures.
Yeah.
And that's on the back of, and I don't know if you found this with the kitchens, but it seems to be a trend for those more neutral, natural colours and looks and feels. And the external normally follows 12 months after the internal trends.
Yeah.
So I think we need to be looking at the lighter colours. And also, this is where I think stone may come back in. I know the aesthetics on porcelain is great, but natural stone is natural stone. Yeah. And I think clay pavers as well. That we've seen more interesting clay pavers as well at the minute.
Interesting. So, to pave a whole area or as a
for
border?
Different reasons, borders, smaller paved areas, driveways.
And can you see the colours changing across stone and porcelain?
I think porcelain we can affect that more.
Yeah.
But stone, we've got the quarries that we've got, and they are the colours that come out of the ground, so we can't affect that as much. But we might see a return to more of the mint fossils, the lighter colours.
Yeah, so. And no significant change to the porcelain stone mix.
I don't think so, but I do think stone may just overtake again next year. Like I said, the past couple of years it's been one or the other, but not by a great amount. So
could that be, will that switch back be down to price again, or is it is it trend again?
For me, I think it'll be trend if the interiors keep as they are at the moment or seem to be. I think the more natural feel. And also that might have an impact on the project packs as well, because that's more of a random rustic natural look. Pack. Yeah, absolutely. Than more of a modern brick effect. So.
Who drives that kind of trend in the garden? I don't mean who drives like the colour trend, but who's responsible for whether it's a project pack or a single size? Is it the installer driving it, or is it?
I think the installer does have a lot of influence. We were talking about this at work the other day. The homeowner is ultimately the decision maker.
Yep.
But there's not really, if you want a new kitchen, there's plenty of places to go, like here. Yeah. There's plenty of showrooms, plenty of people that talk you through it, do the design piece. And although there's landscapers out there that offer those services, if a homeowner wants to do some research first off their own back, unless they're familiar with builders merchants and are comfortable in that environment, there's not that many places for homeowners to go and get that inspiration from. So I think they will listen to their landscaper. They're the trusted trade that come in, they've selected their landscaper, and if they've got a particular passion or preference for a certain colourway, material or pack format, they probably will push that. They're the silent salesman for people like us. Okay. But I think as the homeowners get a little bit more savvy and people doing more of their own research, then I think they'll be the ones that are pushing back and say, I've seen this and this is what I want. Do
you do end user research, or would you focus your time?
At the minute, it's probably more focused with the trade.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But we do have a part of the business that talks to the homeowners if there's any issues or after sales. People will come to us and we will work with them, and we get snippets of feedback from there.
Well, that's always the big challenge, isn't it? In the builders merchants industry is we always talk to the trade, but if you get the circumstance where it's the home owner who actually could dictate is how do you get to them? So could the move to 900, 600 stone be coming from the trade because it's maybe quicker to lay?
It could be. So the bigger formats, less pieces to go down, possibly.
And you're not trying to work a pattern out. It's layers of.
Yeah, no cross joints. Yep. So
you think that size thing will probably stay the same? So we need to stock up on 900, 600.
I think 9x6s are going to remain popular. They've, like I say, they've not overtaken the volume of project packs, but I think people need to make sure they've got 9x6s indefinitely.
Have you got new porcelain ranges for next season that you have seen and know about?
I couldn't possibly comment at this.
So the answer is yes. I'm not going to. I'm sure Mark Wall isn't watching this.
There's new coming. Yeah.
New, but new significantly different to what's been out, or new just tweaks. and variants?
There will be variants.
So,
Be
so
a
small
progression.
variants rather than big changes.
I don't think we're going to go big changes. One of the things we brought in, I don't know if it was this year or last year, we started to move towards 800 because people liked that single size format. And I think the jury's still out on those. So we might not be jumping too much into anything too bold and new.
So there's the big swing from 600 by 600 to 900 600.
Yes.
And now you're trying to force 800 800.
Not forcing it, but we have the offering.
Why? If 600 600 has previously been good, popular, and 900 600 has taken over as the go-to size.
I think so. Some people brought out 1200, which were just too much to handle. And in my garden, I'd only need probably two or three of those. That'd be fine. So I think they were just too much. So we thought, let's do something next level down that still gives that kind of aesthetic for the right garden.
So you're just trying to
It's that
offer choice
alternative.
for people to do something.
Absolutely. The range that we've got is phenomenal, and it's the regular size. It's the project packs. It's the 9x6s that sell through the most. But we have that available.
In terms of growth and price point, which bits growing? The bottom entry level porcelain or the more premium qualities and patterns and sizes?
I think we're always going to be in a position where it's the entry level that takes the bulk. If you look at kind of the tradespeople that you work with and the domestic gardens that they work with, I think we're always going to be at that level.
Yeah, okay.
But that said, there are plenty of landscapers that do more high end, more bespoke work.
Yep.
And we'll always make sure that we've got an offering for them and for you guys.
So really, it's give people choice.
Absolutely.
That's your main drivers. Talasey.
Yeah.
Give people choice in size, colour, price.
Yeah. We have quite a big extended range, to be fair, of the more premium products. Like I said, the UK stone, for example, UK walling stone as well. It goes on.
It must porcelain must drive you absolutely insane, because with stone you've got four or five colours, a
Yeah.
big chunk of it in packs.
Yeah, it's great when you're trying to name them as well. It's we could just have 50 Shades of Grey. That's number 1 to 50.
Who does all the naming then? Talasey. You as head of marketing.
Sometimes I get involved. Yep. And sometimes it's a team effort. So yeah.
So literally, you all just sit around the table and come up with random ideas for colours.
We have done. We have done in the past. Sometimes we'll be guided working with our supply partners as well. We'll have a think about that.
And they'll guide you with.
Well, we know what in terms of they've obviously got their own names and colours, and sometimes we'll work and expand on those.
And where are the popular manufacturers coming from now? What countries?
It's still quite diverse. I think
Because it wouldn't have been diverse 5-10 years ago, would it? It would have been what?
No. You've still got European,
yeah.
and Asian. So there's a mix. We are very careful in that we build good relationships with our supply partners,
Yeah.
and we try and maintain those. But we've also, there's that rationale to say, okay, so there's sometimes issues in certain parts of the country, certain parts of the world. So we have to be strategic in terms of how we spread that supply chain.
Okay. And how's the upskilling of the trade going on porcelain?
I think most people are there. I remember when it was first a thing. So, no, I'm using stone.
I'm not
using
touching
stone. Yep, absolutely. And we've been running a training academy for a while, and we've had people through there. And I think once you start to get people hooked and they see how easy it is to lay, apart from making sure you've got some decent slurry on the back, it's all rectified. It should be much more straightforward in some ways to lay porcelain, but it's just getting momentum going, and then it builds from there. I remember when we first brought, I think we were one of the first to bring out a 16mm porcelain. You look at Europe, look at other countries, you've got, I think, even 10mm outside, no issue. And it took us a while to educate our audience to say, actually, 16 mil is absolutely fine. There's no difference from a 20 mil porcelain.
Yeah.
And, there were probably a few competitors that wanted to stir the pot and go, oh, no. But now plenty of other
Everybody's
people are doing it.
aren't they?
Yeah. So it's getting in the mindset and making people understand that actually it's not that different.
It does feel to us that it's become
A norm.
commonplace now. It's it's the norm. It's not that. Oh, I'm not touching.
Absolutely not.
Touching porcelain. So in a flattish market for 2 years running, what's your advice to merchants who want to grow? Where's the opportunity?
Not wanting to teach anyone how to suck eggs, but I think one of the things that I found when I was in the merchant side for a short period, it's the add-on sales, it's the quick wins, and I know in branches things are busy, and you've not always got enough staff to be talking to everybody and the phone's ringing, so you take the orders, you do what you need to do. But what I found was when I was with another merchant, the amount of lost sales in, I think it was the fixings that go with plasterboards. If they'd have just sold like 30% of the amount of fixings to go with the plasterboards, big numbers to have been had. So I think for me, it's making sure that you've got the accessory products in stock. Somebody comes in and asks for their porcelain paving. Have you got the slurry? Have you got the right fine finish jointing compound?
Yeah.
Have you got your spacers? Have you got your wedges? Again, I don't want to tell people how to do their jobs, but it's just those simple things in terms of getting that full basket sale. I think another thing to think about is probably the homeowner. And I know we've said that the landscapers drive a lot of it, but we know landscapers also bring the homeowners to see showrooms, to see displays. And it's quite a considered purchase. So, what I'm thinking about my garden or anything like that, I want to touch, feel, see. So I think having decent showrooms available that are a little bit more homeowner friendly. I mean, downstairs in your Wakefield branch is a great example. Kitchens, bathrooms. It's just, and just to make it more inviting. And
how do we bring the outdoors indoors then? Because a lot of builders merchants will have nice bathroom showrooms and kitchen showrooms, and we're used to doing that. But when it comes to landscaping, you'll get the odd good laid external display. The rest are on
and it's the upkeep of it as well,
and what have you. So so what do you think the future is? Because
you just need to talk to Talasey.
And what will Talasey do for us? Now, what is the answer? Because at the minute, Steve Collins.
Branch of the Future.
Did his Branch of the Future report at the BMF conference that's getting a lot of press, and a lot of people are really interested in. So one of the questions here was to you is so if the Branch of the Future needs to change, what can you do with landscaping to become part of the Branch of the Future?
Well, when I was listening to him speak at the BMF conference and one of the biggest takeaways that I took was not necessarily focused on the landscaping piece, but it was about the customer type. It was around the current, more traditional, old school customers versus the younger generations of the trade that are coming through. And we've got people that are in the workforce now, in the workplace, that are of the what I call it Amazon generation. Everything's at your fingertips. It's next day. It's here. It's now. If it's not available, I can't order it online. I'm not interested. So I think for me, one of the biggest takeaways was branches being nimble enough to deal with that and to be able to support the younger trade coming through. So from my perspective, it's probably being able to say, okay, we've got a great direct to site service. We can turn things around. If you don't have something in stock, or it's something that's not in the core range, it's part of the extended range, we can turn that around for merchants. Don't even have to touch it, stock it, deliver it. We can do that, and obviously you do the transaction piece.
So do you think the solution for landscaping in Branch of the Future is all digital? Because I'm a bit traditional in that. To me, the best way of selling landscaping is it's face to face, stood on a beautiful laid display that's got, it's got aggregates and all the dressing up. But they're a pig, aren't they? To keep
you've got to keep them clean. Yeah, otherwise it's an anti-sales tool if it's not kept.
So what do we do?
I think the convenience piece is for the tradespeople that need to come in and get something and they're ordering something over dinner ready for the next day. That the convenience piece has got to be there and it's got to be built in more and more going forward. But I think if we're going to see more homeowners maybe driving decisions and thinking about it, for me, it is having a decent display.
Physical display.
Yeah, I think so. The more you can show and inspire, the better. Although one tool that we found really, really useful is we've launched like what we call our Surfaces book, A3 format. They're big, high resolution pictures of the samples, whether it be art composites, stone or porcelain. And then there's an inspirational hero. So you can see what it might look like in situ, but you get a really good feel for what that piece is like. So if you've got a landscaper going in with just maybe 100 samples, there's a bit more of an association to, okay, I get what this might do or be like. So we've had such good feedback from landscapers on that.
Is that a thing that is for landscapers? It's not for...
Oh, it's for merchants as well. You know, we've said to all of our externals, if you've got branches that can use this, especially that some of the landscaping specialists, get them in there. Absolutely. Let's get them out.
I'm probably dating myself here a little bit, but are they like the old-fashioned wallpaper books?
Not quite. A bit more modern. But
the same kind. It's a
same
big
concept.
It's a big thing.
Absolutely.
If you had a blank piece of paper, what's the one change you would make in a merchant to help us sell more Talasey? You sat round the boardroom table bemoaning builders merchants. What's the one thing you'd change?
I do think for me it's that visual impact. As soon as somebody goes in, it's seeing Talasey, and for me it's totally Talasey as well. It's not just the paving piece; it's the full range. And I think more engagement with. I mean, we do a lot of work. Our external guys are great, and a lot of branches are great. But we want to be your extended sales force.
Yeah, okay.
So more collaboration, more joint visits.
Yep.
Let our team as the experts in whatever product category is support the branches. Let's do more that way.
Yeah, good. So what are Talasey doing to stand out this next year?
Well, we're just soft launching a new range called Finishing Touches. We're thinking about the full project sell, if you like. So we've got the basics in terms of a lot of the core landscaping materials, the stone, the porcelain, the grass, the composites, the accessory and installation pieces. But when we're trying to encourage, how can landscapers stand out and how can merchants stand out, it's that extended aspirational sell. So the Finishing Touches range includes things from fire pits, decorative drainage, planters, literally the finishing touches in a garden, the bits that you kind of go, oh yeah, the bits you can get excited about when you, it's like I've just decorated my son's bedroom, but I'm more excited about the blinds that have gone in there and the bits on the wall. And so finishing touches for us is something that we're hoping to differentiate ourselves, but to also enable the landscapers when they're going to a homeowner, they're not just putting the basics down.
They can add on.
They can absolutely do that. So hopefully that will differentiate them and also people like yourselves.
And you've got a logistics offering that allows easy access to everything.
Absolutely. And apart from the pergolas, all of the range we make on site.
Okay.
We've got a fabrication place to head office at St Vincent House. So it's not just a case of us doing off the shelf things. We can create anything that anybody wants. So if somebody's got a crazy design in mind, or they want something that's truly bespoke, personalised, etchings, colours, materials, we can do that.
And when's the big launch?
It'll be next year.
What, springtime?
Well, we're soft launching it now.
Yeah.
So landscapers are knowing that it's available, and obviously through through the right channels. So just watch this space.
Can't wait.
I can't say anymore.
Right. That's been fantastic.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me again.
It's your second time, isn't it? You're becoming a regular visitor for us. if you've enjoyed this episode and you'd like to recap on some of the key takeaways that we've from today, if you click on the show notes, there's going to be a companion blog to summarise everything we've done, and you'll be able to pick that up and have a look at that. While you're there on the website, you'll be able to get a link to all of the previous episodes of the podcast that we've done. And whilst there, you can also see the latest Howarth news and all our products and promotions. Finally, before we finish up, I just want to raise the profile of our charity for the year. That's Andy's Man Club. Andy's Man Club are a men's suicide prevention charity working to end the stigma around male mental health through their It's OK to Talk campaign. Unfortunately, suicide is the biggest killer of men in the UK, and in our industry, the construction industry, it's 4 times higher than the national average. So Andy's Man Club is trying to change that by giving men a safe place to talk, listen and to support each other. They've got 300 groups around the country that are open to any man over the age of 18. There are groups every Monday night between 7 and 9, except on bank holidays. There's no fee. There's no bookings, there's no referrals, no pressure. You just turn up, have a brew, talk if you want to, or just sit there and listen and know that there's people there to support you. So if you're going through a storm, or you can see one brewing on the horizon, just go to their website, andysmanclub.co.uk, and find the nearest group to you. Now, at the end of their meetings, they always finish with a random question to finish the meeting on a high. They're all very random questions. Okay. So to honour their tradition, that's how we're finishing our podcast from now.
Right, okay.
Now, very luckily, they've printed a set of questions onto a pack of cards. So to finish us off, I'm going to ask you to draw a card.
Okay.
And answer the question.
Can I change it if I don't
like
it?
No, it's one question, that's it. So, take your pick.
Okay. Are there any films or TV series you've never seen that you would like to watch? I've never seen Cocktail. And given my age, I really should have.
That's a classic. That's a proper classic, isn't it?
I know. That's on my list.
So that would be yours?
Yep, Cocktail.
Fantastic. Right. I'll draw one. Because people always say, well, you never draw one. So you're giving everybody the hard right. So let's see. So mine, you're going to have to read it because I can't read it.
You win a plane ticket to anywhere, where would you go?
I'd go back to Egypt and to the pyramids. That's an amazing... I've been once. Absolutely amazing place, and I'd love to go back and see all that again.
Nice,
very good.
Good choice.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you back in another 2 or 3 months' time for a third visit. So thank you for that. Thank you to all for listening. If you've enjoyed it, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again in the future. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.
1, 2.